Alright guys, this is video number two. I did the introductory video, and I'm going to go ahead and show you at this point. It's a couple hours later. I'm going to go ahead and show you where we've got and what we've got done here. So as you can see, the first thing I did was I removed the battery, and that's pretty self-explanatory there on the battery. But after I removed the battery, I also went ahead and removed the battery tray. So the battery tray here is out. It kind of hung over a little too far. I may or may not have to have removed it, but I didn't want to have any issues or binding, on it with the header down there. So, anyways, that's out. Also, what you have to pull out is this harness plug here, and this is actually fairly easy. You're going to go ahead and remove this 7mm bolt here, and then you're going to find a clip on one side and one clip on the other side of this underhood fuse block. Then that's going to allow you to pull this fuse block up and out of the way, and when you do that, you'll be able to remove the harness connector here. And then there's also a little plastic clip that goes into the frame, and you'll have to remove that also. So that's it on that part. Also, here's the main cable for the power, the alternator, I believe, and that was clipped into this little hole here, and it went to the battery on this side. So that's removed there. Also, as you can see, the upper and lower computer harness plugs, those will have to be removed, and those are just sitting here. Those are going to come out complete with the motor. So you remove those, you set those to the side. Also, there's a harness connector here, and that clips onto this little bracket here. So you unplug the harness and remove the clip out of there. Also, the radiator here, we went ahead and removed the fans, the shroud. Let me show you the shroud. And this is I'm sorry, not the shroud, but the radiator cover. It's basically held in place by these plastic clips, and these are self-explanatory. You pop up the middle section there, and then you're able to pull the clips out. Okay, so as soon as immediately after you remove that shroud, the radiator cover, you'll come across two 10mm bolts here, and then two 10mm bolts on here, and these are what holds the radiator in place, and they go here and one on the opposite side. So those are the ones that the radiator brackets, those are going to have to be removed. And then there's also two bolts on the upper top part of the radiator that hold the fan in place, and we went ahead and removed the fan first, and then we got to the radiator. Okay, so the lower radiator hose sits just like that, of course, around this AC line, and it sits in there, so that will have to be removed. Just leave that there for now. The reservoir tank is connected with this coolant line. That will have to be removed, and let me show you what that looks like here. This reservoir tank sitting here, and then on the other side it goes to the top of the radiator, and there's the lower part where I just showed you where it comes off from the coolant tube that I just showed you. And there's the intake assembly. That's pretty self-explanatory on taking that apart. You loosen it up from the grommet on the throttle body, and that just slides off. And here's the quick shot of the radiator fan. That's part of the radiator and fan assembly there. You will have to unplug the mass air meter. Mass air meter has a little safety device on it, which is this little red tab here. You can't just pull it out. So this red tab first off gets slid back, and then you'll be able to depress this tab here, and that gives you the gives you the capability of taking it out. Vapor line, there's an intake vapor line here. you have to depress this white tab here. You basically, let me show you how that works. Yeah, there we go. You can see that. I don't know if you can see it, but when you push it in, it gives you the ability to take it out. So you just push it in, push it down, don't try to pull it up. So that's that. I just got that tucked over to the side. Also, the fuel line sits in here, and there's a safety lock on it, and you will need a AC disconnect, quick disconnect, fuel line disconnect set of tools here. It looks just like this, and you'll need that, and you'll be able to slide the correct size on this line here, and then use it to pull the fuel line off. Also on this side, the brake booster line that sits right down here in this hole. That's been taken off. That's sitting there. There's a ground that sits right on top of the firewall here, right underneath this plastic cowl. So what I did was I just took out the plastic retainers, and they sit right in here. This hole here sets in with these plastic screw type retainers. So you take those out, and you'll be able to lift up enough to be able to unscrew that 10mm bolt there. Okay, so what I did is I just took out one, I took out two there, and then I took out a third one down there. There's a fourth one at the very end, but I didn't need to take that one out. I just wanted enough room to be able to get that 10mm. But make sure when you do that not to drop it. There's a cavity in here, and if you drop that 10mm, you'll have to end up removing this whole windshield cover, windshield wiper, cowl cover, whatever you want to call that. But that would include removing these wipers and doing a little bit more than I wanted to do on that. So as far as it goes on this side, it looks pretty good. The power steering reservoir is sitting off to the side here. I might be disconnecting those lines here shortly and plugging those. I'm trying to think of anything else that we've done. Oh, the catalytics. Let me show you what the catalytic system looks like. Here's the battery tray. When you pull the excuse me. Excuse me. When you pull the battery tray, you have a 10mm or 8mm bolt here, and one down below. So there's going to be a total of 3, and you'll be able to remove this complete assembly. So the catalytic system, or the H pipe, it's called the H pipe because this obviously looks like an H, so they call that an H pipe. The catalytic system has got basically 2 catalytics on it, and it's got 2 bolts, and these go to there's actually 2 nuts. One nut on each side goes to the header, and those were removed there, and then also the same on the back side. And then also it just basically pulls right away from the hangers. Disconnect the O2 sensors. These are front and rear O2 sensor on the passenger side, and then this is the O2 sensor, the rear O2 sensor on the driver's side. I believe the other O2 sensor on the driver's side, the front O2 sensor, stays on the header. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go double check on that right now. If that's the case, then it should just be able to pull the motor completely with it. At this point, we're going to be working on the drive shaft and the transmission cross member. I don't see that O2 sensor at this point, but I'll have to get back to you on that when I get the motor out. My son's been working down here, so he's got everything that needs to be taken care of underneath the car. He gets all that, and I'm getting a little too old to climb underneath these cars, so my son's taking that position. Anyways, that's how far I've got so far, and I'll show you what we've got done on the next video. Yeah, hopefully on the next video it'll be out. Alright, that's only basically a couple hours worth of work there. Maybe another 30-45 minutes and we'll be extracting this guy, and then obviously we're gonna have to take the tranny apart, and not apart, just disconnect the tranny from the engine and see what we got there. I'll show you what I've got at that point.